Oh, you messed it up! Welcome to the party, pal. This is a show by us, the Loomer Brothers. That's these two dudes that I'm gesturing. And if you're listening to this, you have no idea who I'm pointing at. We do a movie podcast where we talk about movies. And this week, we have a guest with our good friend, Mr. Retroactive.
How's it going, everybody?
You can check him out over on YouTube and Twitch. I'll put links in the thingy, so you can make sure that you find him. He does awesome video game content, and I recommend that everybody look at it. Mm-hmm. I've found myself spending way too much time staying up way too late watching it.
Yeah, my times are from 10:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 2 to 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah, I'm normally up at late playing video games.
So if you got a job where you have to sit in a room and just listen to Twitch streams all night, he's your guy. There you go. So we are doing Mr. Retroactive's 5 favorite movies. And these are the movies that he chose. Toy Story 2, Aliens, Starship Troopers, The Great Mouse Detective, and The Iron Giant. Cool. So let's kick it off with Toy Story 2. Mr. Retroactive, tell us what you like about this one.
Well, Toy Story 2, in my opinion, was one of the biggest successes for Pixar's career. Mm-hmm. Think about it. These guys had a great first movie with Toy Story. And then, of course, Bug's Life, even though it did okay, it wasn't necessarily the box office hit they were looking for. So Toy Story 2 was like make or break for them.
Yeah.
And then here comes this fantastic movie with great music, great acting, and great animation for the time. It was still, in my opinion, one of my favorite of all the Toy Story movies. Even though 3 does incredibly well with ending it, sort of. At least he tried something out of it. I'm sorry, I had to do that because, honestly, Toy Story 3 should have just been the end right there. Not trying to continue on with 4, even though 4 is pretty good.
Toy Story 4, Tom Hanks needs a new house.
Oh, no.
That's what that one's called.
Oh, Lord.
Toy Story 4, we forgot to end Bo Peep. What do we do with Bo Peep?
Oh, God.
No, Toy Story 2, it's the best. It's the perfect sequel. Yeah. It's the greatest sequel. I'm going to get shot by people who think Empire, but no, this is the greatest sequel I think that's ever been made.
Oh, yeah.
It does a good job of taking the characters you've already met, taking them to a new place. We're no longer just in the backyard in the house. It changes from a human villain to a toy villain, which is really cool. Yeah. And it ups the voice cast kind of prowess, because I think Tom Hanks and Tim Allen were kind of the only two in the first one who were really like big name A-listers.
Yeah, very much so.
So to add Joan Cusack and Kelsey Grammer and what's his dog? Newman, Wayne Knight from Seinfeld, to the already like established cast, just it improved it so much.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Just and not to mention, it was also one of the few CG animated films at the time that wasn't doing stuff like Jurassic Park was doing.
Yeah.
So trying to follow up one of its most prominent movies with that and just absolutely up the ante. Yeah. I also love the music. One of my personal favorite songs is, even though I do love You Got a Friend in Me from the original, I love that She Loved Me from that scene, because not only was it incredibly sung and well written, but I actually, when I was a kid, I cried at that scene because I felt so bad for Jessie. I was like, my God.
That song does not feel like it was written by Randy Newman.
I think that's why this movie is better than the first one, because the first one I never got choked up. I was watching a fun movie.
Yeah, even when Buzz is having an existential crisis, it's not like, oh man. No, Jessie, I think, my favorite character in the series. Yes. I think they give her the best storyline, they use her the best, and they really, she seems like the most down-to-earth, real person. She's going through this, real sort of grieving process.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy. And Joan Cusack, vanishes into that role. You don't even realize that's... I was like, who is that? And I looked it up and I was like, that's Joan Cusack. Oh my gosh. I forget every time.
True. And when it comes to Randy Newman's soundtrack, that's actually one of the few movies where he absolutely excels throughout all the movies, surprisingly. Yeah. So when I heard this song, I was like you. I did not think it was Randy Newman. I was like, okay, who is this musical genius? Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at the credits, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's Randy Newman. It's that guy you forgot wrote all those songs from the Pixar movies. He wrote
And also Cats Don't Dance, apparently.
Yeah.
I actually found out he did that too.
He did. He wrote a lot of really weird songs in the late 90s, early 2000s that we forget.
Yeah, Cats Don't Dance, James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah.
Yeah, My Name is James. Really, come on, dude. You could have done something better.
Yeah, there you go. No, and it was because he did a song for both Toy Stories and then A Bug's Life, and they did a song for the third Toy Story, but they didn't use him in most of the other ones, probably wisely.
Yeah, very wisely on that.
I want to get your opinion on the theory that the girl that lost Jessie was Andy's mom.
That actually, I've thought about that theory for a long time, and I actually agree with you.
I think so.
It makes sense because not only does the character actually look a little bit like. Are you okay, Mike?
I had no idea.
Did you not know
I
that?
did not know that theory.
What?
No, I've been just watching
Oh my lord!
I've seen the movie like 10 times. I never thought that.
Okay, yeah, we'll go over it in a minute. So you keep going.
But yeah, I actually tried to put a lot of the pieces together that, according to the show, has been around since around the 50s and 60s, depending on the style of television at the time.
It's sort of modeled after Howdy Doody.
Yeah, so it could make sense that she would be around maybe 5 or 6 when that show aired. So, or it was during its airtime.
Yep.
So it makes sense that she would, of course, grow up and all that stuff would change. And not only that, it seemed like the area was very similar to the area that Andy was living in at that point.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that it could have been the same person.
Well, in the big clincher, this is the one that... So for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, which I don't know if you exist at this point.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, just in case.
We spoil everything. I don't even know why we put a spoiler alert. We just spoil it.
Yeah.
There's a theory out there that Jessie from Toy Story 2, because she talks about how her owner lost her and sort of abandoned her, was the owner was Andy's mom because it was so long ago. And the big key that they said really makes it feel like that is Andy's cowboy hat is not a Woody cowboy hat. It's a Jessie cowboy hat.
And it was shown at the under her bed
Yeah.
for a few points. So
Yeah, so the theory is that cowboy hat is a hand-me-down from his mother to him.
Okay.
And his mom, played by Laurie Metcalf, who does not get enough time in this movie. She's so good.
she is really good. Yes.
She's the best character in Scream 2.
That's what I love about Pixar though is the continuity between all the movies. Like you can catch Easter eggs.
Oh, there's so many Easter eggs. And I think this is the one that really started the sort of like, there's always that Easter egg that tells you what the next Pixar movie is going to be.
Very true.
So this one kind of was like, hey guys, get ready. Here's what we're doing next.
Yep.
And I don't remember what it was right now.
Actually, the crazy thing is, I actually like the at the end credits where they do the bloopers.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And I have to admit, Toy Story 2 had the best blooper reel I've ever
so
seen in a
good.
Disney movie.
They got Dave Foley and what's his name played Heinlein to come back for that Bugs Life cameo.
Exactly.
In the blooper reel, not in the movie.
Yeah, I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, I just thought that was the best. I was like, they filmed bloopers, and I wonder if because the first one
They did that, yeah.
did it, but it felt a little more like in the first one. It was like, oh, the actors probably flubbed lines, and they just said, let's just keep it, and we'll add it to the movie later.
And then, of course, Bugs Life did the same thing after that, and then...
This one felt intentional. This
Oh,
one
yeah.
felt like they did it
Very-
on purpose.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
No, I love all the stuff. I love the subplot with Emperor Zurg. I wish there was more Emperor Zurg. Did you ever watch Buzz Lightyear Star Command?
Oh, God. Yes, I have, and I watched every episode.
The cartoon's so good. Oh my gosh! As soon as I was watching, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" There was that TV show where he had like a partner.
Actually, I have the VHS.
Oh my
Yes.
The VHS, I remember watching it so many times as a kid. I'm like, I want to see this show actually happen. But then when I actually saw the actual show, there was only one thing that kind of bothered me. Patrick Warburton was freaking Buzz instead of Tim Allen. I'm like, wait. And here's the thing, he's a comedic genius. He could do it well. He does a really good impression of Tim Allen, except with his own voice. But for what it's worth, I gotta be honest, I was actually kind of shocked how good the series was for the first few seasons.
It was solid for a bit, even with Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. No.
What if that's the only thing someone watched and that's the Buzz they know?
They called the Patrick Warburton Buzz.
Oh no.
It's like knowing the Jim Hanks Woody. Did you know that Tom Hanks' brother does all of Woody's voiceovers when they can't afford Tom Hanks?
Oh my god.
That makes sense, actually. Because he actually does a really good impression of him,
This is
actually.
exactly, you wouldn't know, because they sound the same. The only thing I say I have any issue with this movie is really dated now. I was watching them, and then when Rex picked up the game guide, I was like, I think the last time I bought a physical game guide was the year this movie came out. After that, I was like, we have the internet now.
GameStop still offers them, but they're like $50. I'm like,
why would you pay $50 for something I can Google?
I can Google it.
True. Yeah, I think for me is that even though I do love Stinky Pete, he's a good villain. I honestly would have actually preferred Zurg as the villain.
Dude, I would have loved a Zurg stuff. I did like the Star Wars joke that they pulled with Zurg. It didn't make.
Does every movie? I know every single Disney movie at least does one Star Wars reference.
I mean,
they were trying to get it. They were trying to get it.
They were like trying to sell on George for so long. Now they can. Now they can do Star Wars references as much as they want.
Yeah, because they have Star Wars.
You could also tell this one had more money because they got Barbie as a character.
That was a very interesting cameo. And especially they went into the third movie as well. I'm like,
yeah, with Michael Keaton playing Ken, which is the best.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's in 2 Pixar movies. Did you know that?
Which one was he? What was the second one again?
He's in that, and he's the bad guy in Cars.
Oh yeah, you're
Chick
right.
in Cars. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can hear it, and it's like Michael Keaton is, but no, and I love just the way that they sort of tied not only the major Pixar stuff, but they tied the shorts in with the old man from the chess one being the cleaner who fixes Woody.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss the Pixar shorts. That's the one bad thing about having them on Disney Plus and not seeing them is you don't get the little wow, this movie's 10 minutes long and it's better than the rest of the movie that I watched after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it was when I watched. I think it was Finding Dory had lava before it.
Yeah.
And I was like, lava's really good. Finding Dory's okay. I'll watch Lava again now.
Oh.
Great. Yeah, no, great. Nate, any thoughts? No? Any other thoughts?
No, I think I'm good on that one.
Cool. Moving on. We are now talking about Aliens. This is very different than Pixar. If your kids are excited to watch this movie, I'm concerned for your family.
It's good though.
It's good. It's not a kids movie. So what made you pick Aliens?
Well, it was actually the first movie that me and my friend Jeffrey, who I've been best friends with him for over 20 years, me and him would watch this movie constantly.
There you go.
And honestly, we did watch the original. We thought it was very shocking. And to think, after all these years, Aliens still holds up. Especially with the costumes, the animatronics for the alien. That was pretty cool.
That's so good.
And not only that, I also like how it was definitely a little bit more of a balance of action with horror.
Yeah.
Because I know they were trying to do it with the first Alien, but they mainly stuck with horror specifically. But with this one, they balanced it out in the best way possible.
Yeah, they got Ridley Scott didn't direct this one. James Cameron directed this one.
Yeah.
James Cameron has probably made the 2 best science fiction sequels ever.
Yeah.
That is true.
With this and Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he made the first Terminator also, but James Cameron's worst movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is True Lies, which if you've seen True Lies, is not a bad movie. So that tells
Not
you
entirely bad, no.
No, he's like one of his reputation as a super good director is there. He just needs to stop making 12 Avatar movies at the same time.
Oh God, no.
No, this one's cool. This is one of the few sequels too that I feel like you can watch this one without having seen the first one and totally get it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You don't need to know what happened in the first movie to understand what happened in this movie because they tell you enough that you get a gist of oh, Ripley was on some ship, it got attacked by something,
Yeah.
and wiped out her whole crew, and she's the only survivor.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get dragged along. Spoilers for Aliens if you haven't seen Alien. But this one, like you said, the first one's kind of a weird proto-horror slasher alien film.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of people and you don't see the thing for a while, and then this one's just straight up we got 12 Marines and we're gonna go in. But I think the Marine edition raises the stakes of going, okay, so the first movie's all normal kind of crew people, they weren't soldiers.
Yeah.
But this is soldiers getting wiped out by the same thing that wiped out the crew in the first one, just to show you how much deadlier these aliens are than you
That's what I love about it, is the fact that the first movie sets up how bad the alien can be and how and then this movie, instead of just redoing like another suspense movie. He's like, we're just gonna give you a whole bunch of them because you know like how deadly these things are.
I was sitting watching it when all the aliens come out. The first time you see like the swarm, I was like, look at all damn chickens.
Oh no.
Every time.
Yeah, I actually remember the first time me and him watched it. We were thinking to ourselves, "Oh my lord, this is gonna be epic." Because we originally thought it was only gonna be one they were hunting down, but then when we saw a whole bunch of them, we were like, "Oh, they're screwed. They're gonna get wrecked."
This is the peak of this series too. This is it goes downhill from here.
True enough.
And oh man, Ridley. It's such.
You mean Ripley?
Ripley. Sorry,
Ridley's from Samus.
Sam. I play Sam. I play
Ridley Scott. Believe it or not.
It's so much better in this movie, even though because in the other one she's just there to be like a person, but they actually give her a character in this.
Well, in the first one too, I mean Sigourney's there, but I don't think. I think they were trying to sort of not let you know who the fight because there's always the sort of survivor person in these kind of movies. So I think in the first one they were sort of saying like, we don't want you to quite know which one of them is going to make it out alive. Yeah. So we're not going to focus too heavily on any one particular person for a while. In this one, it's like, no, Ripley's the hero. Just go.
Yeah. Not only that, I also like how she's very resourceful. In most horror films, normally you see them making very stupid decisions. Yep. She doesn't. She even calls out the people who make those stupid decisions and actually tries to fix them.
About 2/3 of the way through was like, how many times do you think they got to screw up before Ripley goes, I keep telling you not to do that. Just listen to me.
That would have been an awesome joke.
And Sigourney Weaver, she's the science fiction queen.
I mean, she got nominated for this, right?
Yeah, she got an Oscar nomination for this, which
insane
never
for sci-fi.
A sci-fi horror film got an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, that was still insane when I heard about that.
Gosh, yeah, no, I've done. If you haven't seen my Tough Act to Follow on Sigourney Weaver, I talk about this movie and her specifically a lot more on that. Yeah. It's my only video with like more than 60 views, so it's doing okay on its own. No, and it does a really good job too of exploring her PTSD from the first movie. Yeah. You see that hesitation, you see that sort of flashy, her struggling with like, do I go back to this place where they could be and risk more exposure to this? Like, it's not just, and I think that's something that like separates a good sci-fi movie from a bad sci-fi movie is the character study and the focus on like, let's make these people real people and not just like stereotypes. Because in some ways, Alien and Jason X are the same movie.
Oh God.
But one is very good and one is very not.
It's for me that movie's more like it's so bad it's good film.
It is so bad it's good, but it's so bad.
True.
It is so bad. It is. Oh gosh, I'm focusing on all the Halloween movies I watched this year.
You just went off on a binge, so.
Dude, it was a thing. But Jason X is terrible and Alien is great, and they have the same plot.
Yeah. Honestly, I think in this case, I agree with you that they made the characters so much more human. Especially, you care about these guys. Yeah. You don't want them to die.
Yeah.
I also thought it was also kind of funny that I actually think one of my friends was right that the inspiration for Sergeant Johnson in Halo actually came from the sergeant in the movie Aliens. I was like, good lord.
I love too that they contrast Ash in the first one with Bishop in this one to give you, because there's that cool moment of like, oh, another android. Like, everybody who saw the first movie is like, oh, hold on. That's probably the one reason you need to see the first one is to know that Ash, the android, was an asshole.
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
this
he was.
One, Bishop's the opposite. He's like a standard, tried and true, nice. Yeah. Well, not nice, but like he's not an asshole.
Yeah, the one from the first movie almost kind of reminded me of Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Well, and that aspect of there's always that one stupid guy who's like, no, we gotta take him alive for science. It's like, stop taking the dang aliens alive.
Stop doing
that. And exactly what happened with the guy who brought them there in the first place.
Yeah. What's cool too is if you look at the Alien series, the androids all have alphabetical names. Because there's Ash, there's Bishop, I don't remember who the C is, but then there's David from Prometheus. So they go like that. So if you ever watch the whole series like in a binge, notice that the androids always have the next letter of the alphabet. So if there's an Ernie in the next Alien movie, it's going to be an android.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. I will say, sorry, it's just a thing for me. I watched these like completely wrong because, I mean, I watched the first Alien movie I saw was Alien vs. Predator. And then
Okay, I gotta admit, that movie was good.
It's pretty. I love it, but for like, I didn't see Alien for like another 7 years, and this is the first time I've seen Aliens. So
That's right. I got one of those later. I got one of those first time I've ever seen it is this. It has one of the iconic lines of cinema with "Game over, man."
You took my outro.
Game over. You can still use it as the outro.
Yeah, you can still use it as the outro.
He gets the outro.
Oh, he's the
That's how
outro.
we do-
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's the rule. Oh, by the way, you have to do an outro at the end of this.
Really?
You just have to quote a movie. Any
Okay,
movie.
sounds good enough to me.
Doesn't matter what. The other thing they do really well too with the Marines, especially, is they establish the Marines as like they give you a really solid introduction to them, which they don't do in every movie. Like usually the Marines are like, "Well, Marines, all right, here we go," and you forget about half of them. Each Marine feels like a different person.
Very much
It does
so.
not feel like 12 of the same guy.
Yeah. And I think that's a really cool aspect, is that they give them a lot more personality. Even the badass lady in the crew, I almost thought she was going to live through the whole freaking movie, because she actually was very resourceful. She kept herself and her teammates alive.
Well, and that's what it does, is it raises the stakes. What it does is it tells you that, okay, we care about these characters. Because when you go into an action film and you have 12 guys with names and one guy who's just private, you're like, okay, who's the first one who's going to get killed? Mm-hmm. But if everybody's got a personality and a name, you sit there going, I like all of them. I don't want any of them to go. It's not like, what's his freaking Slipknot in Suicide Squad?
That's
where they're
exactly
like,
what I was gonna say.
Slipknot, his job is
He's
to
got
die
nothing.
first.
He's got
Oh
nothing.
no!
He's got no personality because we're going to kill him off as a sample.
Oh god!
Yeah.
I feel sorry. It almost like reminds me of Carmine from the Gears of War franchise, where where the brothers are always dead. I think there's only one brother who doesn't die through the whole franchise, and that was after the third game.
And then just this probably is one of the best endings in that whole thing where she comes out in the big mech suit and get away from her, you bitch, and all that.
What a great action scene! It was possibly one of the best, and not only that, Sigourney Weaver in that movie basically became the world's best space mom.
No, she did. It was great.
Well,
and that's the girl, Newt. The girl played Newt. That's her only movie. That's the only thing she's ever done.
That's kind of
They
sad.
cut from the theatrical release her losing a child. She is, so that's supposed to be, but I think they realized they didn't need it because they didn't.
No, they don't. But they do have that in the director's cut. Yeah, at the beginning, she finds out that basically she was in space for so long that she lost her kid.
Yeah,
She told her kid she was gonna be home at her like 11th birthday, and then the kid's she's been in the cryosleep for like 70 years, and the kid's gone.
Yep, and not to mention, there's also the game Alien Isolation. If you ever check that out, that game actually does take place with her being the main character in that one.
That game's so good. That game is so scary.
So I think it's a really good way to tie both movies together, while also adding a little bit of the backstory of what happened during those years.
Yeah, I agree. Excellent. No, Aliens is the best Alien movie.
Pretty much.
I will stand up and say that. People can fight me.
Hey, dude, right here. I agree with you, because the movie is fantastic. It has great action, great drama, and it still keeps the horror while also adding character development.
Yep, exactly. And screw Paul Reiser.
Pretty much.
Screw Paul Reiser and rip Bill Paxton.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you think Bill Paxton got stabbed when they were doing the knife scene?
Oh,
Where they do the knife game where Bishop's like,
Honestly, that would be funny to see.
like I don't know how much they did like frame rate speed up on that, but I'm wondering if there's a point where somebody got stabbed.
I would not be surprised, because I've actually seen people do that, and it hurts.
Oh yeah, I've seen some people do it. And if it happens like it happens when I play Red Dead Redemption, you stab yourself a lot.
Oh no.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Well, honestly, guys, I highly recommend watching the movie. It's fantastic, and it's one of the more well-written movies in the franchise.
It's true.
It's definitely a great watch on Halloween if you definitely turn off the lights and just watch the movie in its entirety.
It's a good Halloween movie because it's not scary enough that I don't think people who are like, I don't do horror can watch it. Like, it has enough action to keep the horror from being horror.
Yeah.
But
the horror is more of how much things have scaled up instead of what it did in the original.
Yeah. It's less scary than the original, and it's not like terrifying. You won't poop your pants at night.
Not to mention, it did create a really awesome franchise, a video game franchise as well.
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
The only thing I have to say, though, don't get Aliens Colonial Marines. It sucks.
You heard it here first from the expert.
That's right.
Yeah, I actually bought that game. I spent $40 on it. I wanted to destroy the game after about a few minutes of playing it.
The worst feeling.
There we go. Great. Cool. Let's jump ahead to our other sci-fi, Starship Troopers.
They aren't.
Oh my god, I remember this movie so much.
Starship Troopers. What people don't realize is a beautiful satire.
It's so
Very much so.
It's so against people. I've seen guys who take it at face value. I'm like, no, this is a movie about saying that alpha male soldier type is bad thing.
It's brilliant.
It's so good. And they got Casper Van Dien, who has no personality and looks like every action figure of a soldier you've ever seen in your entire life to play Johnny Rico.
That's true.
All right.
And then, of course, Michael Ironside's in it, too.
Michael Ironside, who's played a general.
Actually, here's something. Why didn't they use that as his name? Literally, it's Michael Ironside. What are the odds you're ever going to have a name like that ever?
Don't. No!
It just seems weird.
So Starship Troopers is sort of a hyper-propaganda film about basically a bunch of kids who get recruited into the military in various roles, and how the military sort of uses them to show off this ongoing war with a hostile planet of bugs that may or may not be an allegory for tribal people in wars in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because they're seen as these savage monsters, and then you go over and they're like, oh no, they think and feel like we do. Mm-hmm. It stars, as I said, Casper Van Dien as Johnny Rico. He's the alpha male hero. Neil Patrick Harris as his nerd best friend, and plastic bag of an actress Denise Richards as the hot girl whose name you won't remember by the end of the movie.
And then, of course, there's the actress who plays Dizzy.
And Dizzy, yes, I don't remember her name either.
But she actually played in Saw, in the Saw franchise.
That's right. She's the other cop in Saw. Yep. And it has my favorite character actor Clancy Brown as Sergeant Zim, the drill instructor.
True.
Which, if you haven't seen SpongeBob SquarePants,
Yes.
he's in it.
Yeah.
If you can figure out where, I'll give you all the points. I'm not gonna send him a cookie.
Here's some cookie. Yes.
Somebody already knows it. Somebody's already figured it out. So
yeah.
No, it's way smarter than people think it is.
The amount of people this movie tricked, reviewers who thought this took it at face value, was amazing. Mm-hmm. Because right off the bat, that part when he first meets the guy, when he signs up, he's like, "Hey, that's the vision I was in." He reaches out, he has the robotic hand. Yeah. He's like, "Oh no!" It's so brilliant.
And then, of course, showing the two legs, just stubs.
Best 4 years of my life.
4 years, dear God, that happened to you?
Well, they've got those propaganda videos that roll the whole time too. You're actually watching. I mean, we obviously haven't lived through the kind of World War II era, Vietnam era war propaganda that happens. There's an element of it now on social media and within the news, but it's not the same. I've watched movie serials where basically if you went to see a movie in 1945, you had to sit through 20 minutes of war serial clips being played to show you look what we're doing over in Germany, and then cut to now we get to watch Gone with the Wind. Okay. That's
oh god.
If Gone with the Wind wasn't long enough, now we've added 20 minutes to the runtime.
Oh
no. Yeah, and then the bug designs are cool.
Yes.
I love the freaking armored napalm bug. I was when that thing came out, I forgot. That was the one that I forgot was in this movie this time around. So when that thing came out, I was like, oh no. Oh, bad.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just starts melting everybody.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. Neil Patrick Harris's character arc in this movie is the weirdest coming of age story.
It makes no sense.
Oh god.
And the whole psychic angle, really?
Yeah, I know. It's somewhat Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, seriously, dude, don't do the same thing that Gundam started years ago. And even that one, they used gravitational pull as an excuse.
That's probably what I got it from, to be honest.
Oh no.
This movie looks like it was somebody was like, I watched one episode of an anime and thought I can make that. Here we go.
Yeah.
No, it's just it just has like I said, the cast. Neil Patrick Harris isn't super forgettable, but the rest of the cast is enough B-list actors that you kind of like. I could watch this movie with a totally different cast and not even realize it. Yeah. And I think Neil Patrick Harris at the time was like that kind of person too. Yes. It wasn't until How I Met Your Mother that he started to sort of become the Neil Patrick Harris we know today.
Oh yeah.
And Dean Norris from Breaking Bad, and Amy Smart, who did a bunch of movies after this and then vanished. I spent about half the movie struggling to remember the name of the place from the Army of Darkness because I kept thinking, isn't Clandathu the Army of Darkness? No, it's Kandahar.
Yeah,
but I was just sitting there like,
how do you know that though?
I was like, why? Because I looked it up.
I
actually
I googled it, dude.
I actually watched the movie and read the comics.
Yeah, no, you got That's another series. We'll do that some other time.
Oh yeah.
Was there an animated series of this?
Of this? I want to say yes. And there's
actually
sequels. Yeah.
There's actually a video game on it too.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of Starship Troopers stuff. I also like that they're Brazilian. Like, it's not a thing they mentioned, but all these white Anglo-Saxon people come from Brazil.
That is kind of weird, yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. These people aren't Brazilian. Neil Patrick Harris is Irish. That dude looks white as heck.
True enough.
No, but this is good too because it has two types of movie you can watch. You can watch it with your brain on and get all the subtle propaganda and the satire, or you can watch it with your brain off and just enjoy a straight up sci-fi action movie.
Yeah, very much so.
That is dumb as a brick.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, which is rare. I don't know many movies that have been able to walk that line of, we're smart, but we also dumb.
True.
Yeah, that's all I got on it. Any other?
Actually, I actually remember after I watched this movie, I decided to go and look up Siskel and Ebert.
Oh, there you go.
And apparently, I found out that Gene Siskel loved the heck out of this movie and explained pretty much everything you said. And then Roger Ebert is basically saying, "What are you saying? This movie is absolutely horrendous." I'm like, okay, Roger Ebert, I have to talk to you for a second.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I watched this movie constantly as a kid. I even have the trilogy. And every time I watch the first movie, I actually still enjoy it even after all these years.
It's so good. Yeah.
And actually, here's actually something I just found out recently. I was looking through, and one of my friends who's a big Power Rangers fan told me to look up Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I look it up, and there was an episode where they're wearing the Starship Trooper uniforms. I'm like, are you kidding me? What? And they even had the guns! I'm like, are you kidding me? How is this even getting through?
That's so good.
Yeah, I love how they do the propaganda and how it's very well edited in this case. It almost seems like something for the time, while also bringing back some stuff from back in the 40s and 30s and 60s. And I also like the characters themselves. The characters are actually very much, yes, I agree, they are very much, they could be replaced by anybody. Yeah. But they're at the same time, they are funny enough they can have their moments. Like this person who becomes Rico's sergeant before he dies. That dude actually has some personality in there, which is pretty cool. I love Michael Ironside, which I'm still pissed I didn't use his real name. And
Michael Ironside has played a general in about every war movie I've ever seen.
Pretty much. I think the one general, and we'll actually get to it, is an Iron Giant. It is played by someone, I think you're going to be surprised.
Oh, I know that one, yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, and not to mention, I love the action, the massive scale battles, and also I also love that part where in the beginning of the movie they see the news reporter literally die in front of a camera. Why would anyone do that? You would never get away with that in live television, people.
Oh my gosh, I know. They're like, oh, let's just put this news reporter in a war zone.
And then of course you see someone dying in front of the camera. I'm like, oh my god, that would scar children.
Yep. No, they don't do that. Usually when they do news reports of that, they like do it away from war.
Yeah, that's when you know that this movie can be smart, but also ridiculous.
It's true. You can be smart, and then the brain bug looks like a butthole.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
That bug, I was just like, that. I don't know where they designed that thing. I was like, I can't tell if it's supposed to be a brain, or if it's supposed to be a butt, or if it's supposed to be both. And it makes no sense. But the scene where it sucks that dude's brain out is actually pretty cool. Yes.
Yeah, that's actually I've seen him in a few movies as well. One is in Piranha, the remake, and I think and he also dies in that one.
He dies good.
Yeah, and then of course Actually, now that I think about it, he dies almost as much as the dude who plays Boromir in Lord of the Rings. I just realized that. But that dude dies in every movie he's in.
He doesn't quite. Almost.
Oh.
And we're about to get to a movie where we talk about the only actor I think who outpaces Sean Bean.
Really?
Yeah. So moving on to The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh God, no! Oh yeah, you're right. I just realized.
So I did some Googling at one point a long time ago. They did the statistics. They took every actor who dies a lot. Vincent Price dies the most. He has died the most of any actor in any movie career. He plays Professor Ratigan.
And then he died after this movie.
Well,
Actually, no. He died at, I think, somewhere in 1999 to 2000.
This is from the 80s.
Was this his last thing, though, right?
No, he did Edward Scissorhands after this, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's done a whole bunch of movies
Get the
after
Google out. Google is shame.
I'm dumb. I know. I'm going to look him up.
Yeah, Vincent Price he's the only actor in this movie that I recognized.
I hear that, though. I'm dumb.
Yeah, he plays Professor Ratigan.
You're right.
Who, which is such a cool, underrated. So, Great Mouse Detective, it's Sherlock Holmes with mice.
Yeah.
That's the entire movie. And a bat.
This is the savior, right, of Disney?
Or
no. Disney Animation.
Kind of. This was like...
This is the movie, in my opinion, that started the Disney Renaissance.
This is the one... Yeah, this is the one that sort of hit the, shock paddles on Disney's winning career, and then Little Mermaid is the one
That's right.
that threw
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. That was a bad metaphor. I went from a heart attack to a sports metaphor. Neither one of them made sense.
Oh,
so tell us why you like Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, God. First of all, I love the dynamic between the hero and the villain. Oh, my God. It says it very... But, yeah, the hero and the villain are fantastic. There is, of course, Barry Ingram, who does the voice of Basil of Baker Street. And, of course, we have my favorite actor of all time, Vincent Price, who plays Ratigan. Oh my lord. The two just work so well together. And when you hear Vincent Price in his role, you don't hear Vincent Price. You hear freaking Ratigan. Yeah. And that is insane that he could get so into a role.
I didn't know it was Vincent Price till I looked it up afterwards.
He's loving it. You know he's in the recording.
And he's having
He's having so much fun. I also love the other characters as well. Dr. Dawson, Olivia, Mr. Flaversham. The Queen is actually done very well, too. Yeah. The animation is fantastic, how they blend 2D and 3D. Mm-hmm. I think it was the first movie that combined CG animation inside a 2D film, which is a huge undertaking, and it did it so well. Because we wouldn't actually see that until The Lion King, surprisingly, which that movie we already know was possibly Disney's greatest film of all time.
Yeah, it's up there.
And I also like how it definitely bases off Sherlock Holmes. You even see Sherlock Holmes playing his violin from his window.
Voiced by Basil Rathbone, who played him, who's the most famous actor who's played Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah, which is cool. They took audio dubs from one of the movies because he's been dead 20 years at that point, and they put them into the movie over the top of the silhouette.
Yeah, honestly, I actually did watch a lot of Sherlock Holmes films. I've read almost every single Sherlock Holmes novel, and I've always loved the character. I also like how intelligent it is. It really does get you to really think of how he processes all this information. Like, how does he trace this from this? How did he know that Dr. Dawson was in the military? And how he explains everything. It makes you feel like you're getting smarter.
Yep, exactly.
What I like about it is that the main plot of it is, you know the bad things that happen because they happen right at the start of the movie. Yeah. And then it's getting there, which is what leads you to let you have a good villain that you can hate, which Disney bring back good villains. Who's
the last good Disney villain?
Dr. Facilier in Princess and the Frog, played by Keith David of all things.
That's the last one I have in my head too.
I think you're right. If we count Pixar, I think it's lots of Hug and Bear. But but if we don't, then that's probably
it.
Actually, here's the crazy thing. And this is actually from what I remember, that the last time they actually did a Disney villain song was back with Hunchback of Notre Dame, and they wouldn't do it until 13 years later with Dr. Facilier of all things. Yeah. I'm like, how crazy is that?
Yeah, it's
but when it comes down to the movie or the villains, I wish they would make them as well as they did back in the day. Because, good lord, we had Ursula, we had Jafar. Actually, I found out really strange fact that Jafar was actually drawn by a pregnant woman, and it was right in the middle of her.
I believe it.
So I'm like, oh wow, if that's the exaggerated look, I would love to see what she would do with other characters.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, Ratigan was one of those few villains where you actually enjoyed him being there, but also loved to despise him.
Yeah, and I love the contrast of so Basil's all brain. And Ratigan's smart, but then they have that moment where he lets loose in the clock tower.
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
you're just like, oh, by the way, he's not only a genius, he's also, like, huge.
Yeah, he's jacked. He's going to wreck your
Big freaking rat. Like, he'll kick your butt.
There's a couple of points in the movie where there's jump scares in a cartoon, and I looked at my phone for 1 second here. Oh my god! I was like, not this movie. This movie did not just make me like fall back.
No, this movie's scarier than Alien.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I remember when I first watched the movie, and all of a sudden there's this subtle noise, and then boom! Here comes the bat and just starts wrecking the place. I'm like. I was thinking to myself, oh my lord. I even remember I watched a Nostalgia Craig review, and he says, Mommy, as scary as bleep. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I would describe it.
Yeah.
I will say this.
God.
My favorite character is the Juggle Octopus. I want more of that. I want a movie centered on the Juggle Octopus.
True.
I was like, why are they booing him? He was great. Yeah, there's him. I forgot this was a musical, sort of.
Yeah.
Actually, would you really call it a musical? Because
It's a-
all it did was have one music scene, really.
Yeah, 3.
Oh, there was 3?
There's 3 songs.
Oh, yeah, the one, the Ratigan, oh, Ratigan. Yeah, I
There's
remember that.
Ratigan, and then there's the Mouse Sally Bowles.
Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Who shows up. Then there's the one other one. This stars Frank Welker, who's probably the greatest voice actor that I could think of, as every animal in the movie who isn't a speaking character. He's the dog, he's the cat, he's, I think some of the bat noises.
Yep.
Yeah. Frank Welker he's played Fred in Scooby-Doo since the 60s. Yes.
And he also played Scooby-Doo after the original voice actor passed away.
And he was half the roles of the lion's roars in Lion King. He wasn't anybody in Lion King, but he was the lion's roaring.
Nice.
Because the actual lion roaring wasn't epic enough.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think that the only thing I ever thought was a little ridiculous about this movie is I was like, that pedal blimp has a very likely chance of not working out if someone gets tired.
I agree, yes. And they actually did show that where he literally gets tired out, Ratigan has to take over and just move.
And it's just like, this is not a useful way of transportation. It's good in theory, but I can see why you'd need an engine.
Yeah.
No, and I love Ratigan's design. Like,
oh yeah,
I think that like he looks evil.
Yes.
That's something Pixar or Disney didn't do later on. Like for a while, when the villain showed up in a Disney movie, you were like, "That's the bad guy." I don't even need to hear him say anything. I know from the way that dude looks, that's the bad guy.
Yes.
And then Han shows up in Frozen, and I'm like, "This guy's fine." Spoilers for Frozen.
Oh yeah. But yeah, honestly, I honestly love Ratigan. He's one of my favorite villains of all time, and this is also coming from performances that would come later from Scar, even Hades of all things. I do love James Wood Jones when he does Hades, but yeah, honestly though, for the villain who absolutely loves his role and just gets so sucked in, it is Vincent Price all the way. You cannot go wrong with how he does things.
I mean, he's Vincent Price. He's one of the greatest, probably villain actors who has ever existed.
Yeah, not only that, I also love how the character Ratigan is definitely a reference to Moriarty. Yeah. The only thing that, and this is the only thing that really upset me, is that they left it open for a sequel, and so far we never got it. Wouldn't it be awesome to have like a cartoon show on that?
Yes. Disney. Make Great Mouse Detective 2.
Or a TV
Boogaloo.
series. Or heck, do a freaking television series, a cartoon series. That would be amazing to have these characters actually go against all the other villains in Sherlock Holmes history.
Stop making Lizzie McGuire reboots on Disney Plus. Give us this.
Thank you.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
I have a whole bunch of just lost all my Lizzie McGuire fans.
No.
I also just love how Basil never, like, his genius can't remember Fleversham's freaking name.
Okay, that is definitely fun. Yes.
So I wrote it down. Every time I wrote a note about her, I changed the name. I was like, I'm just gonna do this just to keep it fun. So Mrs. Fluffernutter.
Oh my god, that's really good.
I love the and I love the Rube Goldberg trap. I was like, I miss when traps were insane. I miss when the Riddler put Batman in a thing. And he's like, there are 4,000 steps to this trap. You have an hour and a half to figure out how it works, but you won't escape. And then when Riddler walks outside and Batman's there, and he's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that was actually really funny. Yeah.
No, I love it. I love how Basil just goes, "Oh, if we just triggered the thing early, then it'll screw everything up."
Yep, and it's actually it's really ingenious how they really do put problem solving as the main focus, because they are literally trying to outsmart each other. It's a battle of wits rather than a battle of brawn until the end, which I think was done very well.
Yeah, and I think that they justify that Ratigan realizes I can't outthink him, so I just have to kill him.
Yeah, just outright just use brute strength.
Which is something they don't do with Moriarty in a lot of Sherlock Holmes stories. They always seem to make him the weaker of the two physically. Mm-hmm. And I was like...
But they do make him the more intelligent out of the two.
Typically. But I do want one. I want one where you get like a Bane-sized... That's one of the things with Bane. I know I'm using a lot of Batman metaphors because Batman's a detective also. Bane is a genius. But he's also 6'8", jacked.
Yeah, pretty much. Even without the Venom Serum, he can take on 4 superhumans at once.
Yeah, he's a big dude. So that's the thing is I was like, next time we do Sherlock Holmes, let The Rock play Moriarty.
Honestly, I think he could actually pull it off, honestly.
I don't know if anybody wants to see that. Vin Diesel is Sherlock and The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're speaking anymore, though. I think that they had that thing with Fast 8 where they decided we're not talking again.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. All right.
Well, honestly, wouldn't that be much better, though? Because those two would actually have a very much a rivalry in this case.
Yeah, I think, it's a confusing thing. Mm-hmm. It's a confusing thing. Any other thoughts on Great Mouse Detective?
I guess the only thought is that the only thing I actually have to say that they could have actually done a little bit more on is, well, honestly, I think they should have definitely explored London a little bit more. Because, good lord, the sets they do for the artistic design of the entire city as a whole is just absolutely fantastic. And honestly, it would be very interesting if they did do a sequel. They explored more of the city of London as well as, of course, give the problem solving and the mystery.
I agree. No, that's the thing. And that's the thing with any sequel. You want to go outside the confines. If you just do the same thing again, nobody's going to watch it.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Cool. Great. Done. Great Mouse Detective. Speaking of Vin Diesel, we're talking about the Iron Giant.
Ooh. Oh, yes.
So this is I saw it for the first time 2 weeks ago, watching it for this.
Really?
I've never seen it before.
Really?
I mean, now I'm like, I was an idiot. I don't know how.
It's like your favorite cartoon director.
I know. I didn't feel so. I was like, freaking Brad Bird. How have I not watched
underrated director of all time.
Brad Bird has made the greatest Pixar movie that has ever existed.
Yeah, incredible.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
And he also made The Iron Giant, which stars Vin Diesel as titular Iron Giant and a kid whose name I can't remember. And that guy from Happy Gilmore as the bad guy, who always plays a great bad guy.
Oh my god, he just does it so well.
And Harry Connick Jr. as that poor... Every movie like this has one adult character who has to deal with the kid's crap the whole time.
And then, of course, there's the mom, who actually is played by Jennifer Aniston.
That one blew me away. This is Jennifer Aniston's best role, guys.
Is it?
Still Friends. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, because she really puts her whole all into it. And she makes the character seem more relatable than most other characters you see in film.
And I didn't know it was her. That's the big thing. Like,
even I didn't know. I was like, holy freaking crap, that's Jennifer Aniston.
I was like,
give her props.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, who is this? Who in like 1990 whatever was playing moms?
Moms. She was like, she was never playing mom. She
was in the last few seasons of Friends, but
yeah, she was a mom.
But yeah, this is one where she actually just went full on. She wanted to make this character her own, as well as one that seemed very believable, especially during the 50s.
Yeah, and I mean, all the voice acting in this is top notch. Yeah. Vin Diesel, like, I think he's a better voice actor than he is
he's so
regular
good.
actor. Yeah. Between this and Groot, I'm like, just be voice actor, Vin. You got it.
Oh yeah.
Man, and the whole thing, he sounds like Brad Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond half the time. And I was like, man, if I didn't know that was Vin Diesel, I wouldn't have thought that was Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah.
What I respect about this movie is when I looked it up, it seems like this was the era when this is the movie that started we don't have to do the Disney animation. We can do our own thing and still make a movie. It still flopped somewhat.
Well, yeah.
Actually, it managed to break even.
It broke even, but for most animated films, it's a flop.
Yeah.
But
especially comparing to Disney.
It let other studios go, oh, we can do something different.
Yeah.
Finally.
So you can thank the Iron Giant for Shrek.
Yes.
That's woo. That's if you like Shrek, this is what did it. I don't know if that's true. No, but I think, and then like you said, John Mahoney from Frasier as the general.
I still couldn't believe that was him, and he does such a good role. He makes him seem so intimidating, but at the same time very funny when he wants to be. Yeah. Just like he does as Martin Crane in Frasier.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's so good. But this one, like Starship Troopers, also makes like really bold political statements under the guise of this movie. That moment where he stands up and he just goes, "I am not a gun." I was like, I feel you, man. I am not. You are not what you were made to be. You are what you choose to be. Mm-hmm. Except for me, I'm made to be this way. I'm born weird.
That design.
Same here, man. Hey, even I won't admit I have quirks and I don't mind. Heck, I'm autistic and I don't mind. I'm proud of it, damn it.
Be proud of your quirks. But don't be a gun.
Oh, yeah, no!
If you're a nuclear weapon designed to destroy America, don't do that.
Yeah, no.
The Iron Giant design, that's what I was thinking. Is like it is weirdly like haunting. I don't want to say almost like it doesn't look, but that's why it's so friendly because I make it like evil looking enough.
Yeah,
but like
watch that balance.
I guess it looks like the cover art. What's it called? It's the band. Oh shoot! Back when I was a kid, I thought it was the Queen. It looks like the Queen.
Oh, you mean the one with that giant robot that was like this?
Whenever I was a kid, I got those two confused. Whenever I saw them.
Did you know, speaking of bands, this started out, this is a book that was adapted. Yeah. Yep. But it originally was the Who's follow-up musical to Tommy.
No.
Pete Townsend wanted to do a rock opera with the Iron Giant.
Oh, yeah, you're right!
He never got off the ground. So if you look at Pete Townsend from The Who is an executive producer on this movie.
Oh, my god.
Because he gave them a bunch of money to make the movie.
Oh, yeah, I want that, though.
I know. I was like, the Iron Giant and it was originally called the Iron Man.
Oh.
But then, because of
copyright,
certain other character, that didn't fly. I think the book of this is actually older than Iron Man the superhero.
That would make sense if they were trying to go for that original title.
Given the Cold War era feel.
Oh yeah.
The movie. Cold War. It's always the Cold War. Any movie set between like 1975 and 1990. Has to have this Cold War tension.
Yeah, especially this one actually takes place more around the late 1940s to early 1960s, especially during the whole duck and cover scene. And yes, I do think that's really funny, but at the same time, it was kind of realistic of what kids had to learn back then.
I know. It was ridiculous. Table's not going to protect you from a nuclear bomb.
No, not even close.
Or refrigerator.
Or fridge.
Please don't think a fridge will save you.
Did you really have to bring back the Indiana Jones fourth
every
movie?
Time.
God bless it.
Speaking of movies that ruin great trilogies, now we've come full circle. All right, there we go. No, I just like I said, I'd never seen it. I love that for the first probably 10, 15 minutes that you see him, the giant doesn't talk. He's all nonverbal. I think nonverbal characters. It's one of the reasons Wally's so dang good. Is that like, man? Just if you don't need words, don't use them.
Yeah. Almost kind of reminds me of Gromit from Wallace and Gromit, because he never says a word, and yet he has so much personality.
He's the best. Gromit's the best. Gromit's the best thing in Wallace and Gromit. I want to go watch Wallace and Gromit, damn.
I actually have a DVD called Wallace and Gromit's World of Invention, where they actually do all sorts of
That's awesome.
scientific teaching shows in a way, but at the same time, it's very much them describing the new technology that's there, all the inventors who do all these awesome stuff. You guys have to check it out later.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the Iron Giant, even though that it's what you would normally see for a typical movie, but it does it in a way that almost feels very wholesome. Like a family would completely enjoy this. And I remember back when the movie came out, me and my friend Jeffrey we both went straight. It was the first movie we ever saw together in theaters, and we both absolutely loved the film. And there were times where we saw two lights doing this. It was looking around like this. I'm like, oh, holy crap, he's alive!
Yeah.
That actually terrified the hell out of me. I'm like, oh, no!
Yeah. No, it's so cool. And like I said, I love Brad Bird. I think Brad Bird's one of the best directors of animated movies out there.
Ghost Protocol.
He did Ghost Protocol?
I think he did.
Wait, seriously? Okay, I gotta look that up right now.
Maybe
I'm curious.
Yeah,
He did it one Mission Impossible movie.
Okay, quick Google break.
Yeah, give me a second. Brad Bird
Brad Bird.
movies. Here we go. Let's see. Ratatouille, Incredibles 2, Iron Giant, Mission Impossible. Yep. Tomorrowland. Wait, he did Tomorrowland?
Okay, he had one flop.
Yeah. Let me see. 1906.
Protocol?
There was also 1906. Batteries not included. Jack Attack.
And he was an animator?
What the heck? There's a show called Mr. Incredible and Pals?
Yeah, I think it's a cheesy Disney Plus.
And what did you see? Oh my god. He did this.
A Grand Night In.
Oh,
The Story of Aardman.
Wallace and Gromit.
That's awesome.
That is insane that he did that. I'm like, what?
How did we do it? It's Brad Bird, everybody.
Brad Bird.
Also, what'd you say the movie was called?
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
Ghost Protocol. I actually do not see it on here.
That's the one where Tom Cruise is on the building. I think he did do it.
Let me see.
It's on his own
Ghost.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did direct it.
Oh, he did? Wow, that's cool.
He was the last time they switched directors until they went back to just like Christopher McQuarrie doing everything.
That's true.
Yeah, I love the connection to Superman at the end. I think that's such a good when the giant flies up to catch the missile and
True.
First off, who shoots a nuke at an American town without evacuating the town first?
Yeah, that was one of the worst calls that dude could have made.
Also, there's like serious protocols that go down. I'm pretty sure from what I've heard. When you fire anything like military-wise, you can't just any idiot can't just get on the horn and be like, "Shoot him now!"
Yeah,
like,
you have to get approval from the president first, and then he has to go through the chain of command just to even get the people to actually turn the key and unlock the freaking thing. Then they have to get another okay just to press the button.
Yep, it's a whole thing. It's a whole deal. So that's the only unrealistic part of this. And the 1,200 foot, the ever expanding.
Yeah.
I like that, the giant's 50 feet, but I'm like
that's not 50.
That's bigger than 50 feet.
Yeah.
At times he looks huge, and at other times he looks really small.
Yeah.
Actually, did you know that Superman was actually inspired by Popeye the Sailor?
I believe it.
Because honestly, it makes sense with all of his powers and how he has his interchanging abilities. But when it comes down to that, I still love how the Iron Giant was well written. Not only that, it was actually well acted. Hogarth has done very well. Same with his mom. And the villain, of course, you can't go wrong with him. He does a really good villain.
Christopher McDonald is such a good sleaze.
Yeah. Actually, before I continue, there's a little bit of trivia. The kid who does Hogarth also plays the older brother in the Country Bears movie. I did not expect that.
There you go.
And but continuing though, I also love the General. I also like Dean. He's done very well as well.
Yep.
And actually, there's actually one thing that when I actually got to see the whole extended cut movie, I'm thinking about, and there's one scene in there that would make a whole lot more sense for why Dean had that outburst. I'm like, why didn't they put this in the original movie theater release? Because here's the thing, there's a dream sequence where he's literally watching on his TV his memories of a world he's been on, or heck, it could have been the future Earth or something, where he literally destroys it. And for all things, you would think of all things that would have been essential to know. That's why I was so confused when I saw it in theaters. I was like, why is he getting angry?
Yeah, it's I have no idea. They cut things for weird reasons, and I think they ran. Okay, this is important, but it's not like we can tell the story we want to tell without it. Yeah. Which is the typical like cut. There's some cuts that they make in some movies where you're just like, if they'd left that in, that would have cleared up 12 plot holes.
Yeah. Like in I Am Legend. There's the I Am Legend original, the movie actually. I actually read the novel. Yeah. That the original ending was supposed to be where whatever they were, he was trying to get his girlfriend back, and Will Smith in that movie realizes that he is the monster. Yeah. He is the boogeyman to everything. It would have been so profound, and yet they do the whole, hey, humanity rocks, let's cure him. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Oh, man, yeah. Such a bummer.
And honestly, and I think that's the reason why even though the Iron Giant scene would have made the story a lot better, I don't think it was that too much of a hindrance. But I think if you did add that scene in the original movie, I think it actually would have done a lot better.
I think so. I wonder if they took it out to keep the mystery of like what the giant is.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
a little longer.
Makes sense.
You do spend a lot of time going like, is he a probe? Is he a spy? And then when he's like, oh no, he's a friggin' super weapon.
Yeah. Even in that one, even if it was left to, it still left things to obscurity because. Yeah. It doesn't even show the whole thing. It only shows bits and pieces of what he's seeing. From the deer that's right there to its dead body to eventually even all that stuff. And also, I like how they also teach the message that death, once it happens, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good lesson to learn, especially when you deal with consequences like that when you use a weapon.
Yeah, it's something important that I think that a lot of kids' movies don't do is deal with the like. They're afraid to tackle the sort of adult themes, but if you do tackle them, if you take them on, and you just say like, we're going to show kids this is how it is, and it's not always pleasant, but these kids need to learn somehow. We'll show them in a way that's safe. It's better. Like. I know that when I growing up, there was never a time where I felt like I learned something young and then was like, that ruined my life.
Yeah, because if you take another example, The Lion King, the actual message is that stuff happens. What are you going to do about it? You just move forward. You just keep moving forward. And actually, that was actually the line that was used by Disney all those years ago. Yeah. Just keep moving forward. Stuff is going to happen. And I think that's... Those lessons, I kind of wish they would do more in films nowadays, because, especially kids' films, because those are lessons that you should at least learn. And there's even there's actually a line in that movie where Mufasa's like, being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble, and that's more profound now than it's ever been in the years that the movie was released.
Yeah, just keep swimming. That's the Disney motto.
And I have to admit, though, the Iron Giant I still love it. It's one of my favorite animated films of all time, except for maybe Don Bluth's Secret of Nim. But that one, that's a whole nother can of worms. I even have the VHS right now.
It's probably one of the 5 greatest American animated films. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and honestly, though, for what it was worth, Iron Giant is getting more of a following every single day. And I am so grateful people are watching this movie and are really seeing how incredible it is, as well as for how much they really put into it.
Yeah. So don't be like me and wait till you're 30 to watch the movie.
Yeah, definitely definitely watch it with your family, and you're going to see it not only a really wholesome film, but one that does it in the best way.
Yes, exactly. It's so good. Well, that's great. Any other thoughts, Nate?
Oh, no.
You've been mute. I feel like you haven't said anything this whole
time. I've been a little mute this time.
It's all right. Guest spots are different.
Actually, here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What are your favorite video games? Top 5.
Top 5 favorite.
I can't do top 5. Number 1's Halo 3.
Your number 1's Halo 3?
Oh, right here, man.
Pokemon Silver.
Ooh, nice.
No, Pokemon Gold.
No, it's not.
I just started debating here with people.
This is our last episode. We're gonna break up after this.
I'm a ho-oh.
Hallelujah. That's how it is. No,
Pokemon Yellow for me. That's the first one I ever owned.
Yellow. That's the way. That's the way it goes. Yeah, I would have said blue, but I like silver more than blue.
True, we had a lot more.
I like silver because I like silver and gold because you get to do red and blue after you do silver and gold.
True, it really does expand the whole thing.
Yeah.
Too bad they don't do that ever again.
Like that. I'm trying to think of other ones that I
Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, dude, yes.
Dead by Daylight.
Ooh, that's another good one.
Skyrim, because
Skyrim.
it's just gotta be Skyrim.
I'm gonna put Skyrim on.
I've never beaten the game actually. I just get too caught up in doing fun things.
You never really did the
full story because it glitched like when I almost beat it.
I had.
Thank God they did fix up the game though, so it's more playable than it was.
I had one run where I just did the main story, didn't do anything else.
Oh my god!
And that was a mistake. And then another game where I'm like level like 75 and I still haven't touched the main quest after getting out of.
Oh no!
That's happened with me every time.
I got to Dragon's Reach and then just said, all right, now I'm gonna do whatever I want for the rest of the game.
Nice.
So see.
I think video.
God, I gotta think about video games that I played.
Gosh.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah. Actually, I just happen to have my Majora's Mask right over
There
there.
you go. That one's good too.
Yeah, let me see if I can go grab it for you.
And now Mario Odyssey.
I haven't played Mario Odyssey.
So
I haven't played any video games.
I also have the original Legend of Zelda and A Link to the Past.
There you
guys
go.
see right here. So
Oh,
I'm only missing well, I'm still missing Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess on though.
What is my fifth one? Is it? Oh gosh, what is it? I'm trying to think of all the crap that I play all the
played as a
time.
kid. Yeah.
No, that's Dungeons and Dragons. That's not a video game. I mean, the one I play the most is the Lemmings game on my phone, but I don't want to say that.
Lemmings.
Dude, Lemmings is so good.
I'm trying to think what we had as when we were growing up.
Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
We didn't have anything growing up. You know what game we had growing up?
What?
Now that Mr. Retroactive was left the studio.
Oh,
Oh no, I'm just looking for something.
It is looking for something. It's good. No, you know that. Remember that? Did you ever play that shuffleboard game on Grandma's Mac?
Yes, I have.
Yes! That one where you're in the bar.
Yeah.
And I was cheated where they made the paddle
love
the
that.
whole length so I couldn't lose.
Oh Lord.
I forgot.
I remember one of my friends did that to me once, and I swear to God, he will always screw me every time I
If
play.
you haven't played this game, it's like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, where you have to play your way through a bar of
That just
like
hit
harder
me.
and harder shuffleboard dudes.
Oh my gosh, that just
Oh
hit
my
me
God.
nostalgia.
Gosh.
Oh, backyard baseball.
Backyard baseball.
Actually,
No,
I have
that's
that
it.
game on my computer right now. Backyard Baseball 2001.
It's the
No,
best.
Backyard Baseball, the original Backyard Baseball, is the best sports game ever.
For me, it's more 2001 or 2003.
And I looked it up the other day, and you can't get it anymore, and it makes me sad.
That is unfortunately really sad, I know. But yeah, for one of my games, this is actually the first video game I ever played. I'll even show you guys at the camera here. It's Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country is a good game.
This is a game. This is the first game I ever played, and it was the game that me and my dad and my grandfather and all my family members would play together.
That's awesome.
This game basically made me want to become an enthusiast for games, as well as, of course, I actually wanted to be a game designer for a little bit, but then I'm like thinking to myself, I would love to review these games and bring back the memories. And when I started doing Twitch, this is actually one of the games I was hoping to one day play for everybody. So hopefully that. And also, I also love Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3.
Yep.
One of my favorite RPGs of all time is Chrono Trigger.
I love Chrono Trigger.
I actually have the DS version, the PlayStation version, the PC version, and this, along with, I also have a Chrono Trigger keychain, I have Chrono Trigger t-shirts.
There you go.
When it comes to RPGs, this is my ultimate favorite. And actually, I actually bought this off my friend for $120. That is a steal compared to what I was going to get. I also have the Super Mario Stars All-Stars pack because it has all of the original Mario games on it. Legend of Zelda, another great game. I also have Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat 2. Then Killer Instinct was one of the rare ones I actually got. One of my favorite first-person shooters ever, Halo 2.
I had that same box.
Dude, right here. Actually, I was one of the few people that was actually still online right when it was about to shut down. I was like, come on, please don't get rid of this. I love it.
And you were too.
Yeah.
Oh, you were too? I think you might have killed me a few times.
Maybe. Is that that's the one with the bonus DVDs? And
Yeah.
stuff. That's
All the making of
The limited collector's edition.
That was the last time I bought a Halo game.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Actually, I think I stopped getting Halo games after Halo Wars 2, and unless Halo Infinite is gonna be good, then of course another favorite RPG, Mass Effect.
That's very good.
The game, incredible story, amazing characters, all well written. I actually heard that they did so much dialogue for this game, it took them like 2 to 3 years just to finish that.
Oh, Batman Arkham Knight. That's my other one.
Oh, of course that is.
I played that like 4 times.
I actually have the original Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. Those are fantastic games. I also love Mark Hamill plays the Joker in the animated series, and he reprises his role in the games. I was so happy.
He popped up, and I knew because it was like a third time playing through one of them. And I turned to Jess and I was like, "Watch this!" And he pops up and goes, "Oh, hi, Mark." And she's like, "I hate you," and I was like, "You love me."
But yeah, if I were to name off my personal 5, Donkey Kong Country would definitely be on its first one. Chrono Trigger definitely hits second. Third is Backyard Baseball 2001 because it was the first ever baseball game I ever played aside from Backyard Baseball. When it comes to first-person shooters, it's going to be Halo 2 all the way. And when it comes down to the final game, and I think you guys are going to be really shocked at what I'm going to pick here, and I think it was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm not shocked at all. That
No,
game's
that
fantastic.
is amazing.
Some of my friends think it's a good game, but they don't think it's an amazing one. For me, I say it's amazing because not only did it have incredible writing, it had one of the greatest plot twists in video game history.
It's one of the best RPGs I think I've ever played.
Yeah, and not to mention it was also based on D&D,
Yep.
which is pretty cool.
Which is
But
really cool.
I honestly thought when I was playing through the game, when I first played it, I was thinking to myself, this is what I would love to see a Star Wars movie be like. This is what the prequel should have been. Instead of the, well, mixed bag it is at this point.
Well, the theory is if they continue movies now that they've done the Skywalker saga, they're going back to the High Republic, which isn't quite Darth Revan era. It's a little after that, but it is like 300-400 years earlier. And our gateway character is a young Yoda.
Which is wonderful.
Actually, I think that would be pretty cool,
Trying to
seeing
be
Yoda
slick.
during his youth.
Yoda during his prime years. Yeah.
And yeah, you just imagine what they could go with the whole thing. It would just be amazing to see all the action, and also see his character develop, learning more about the Force, the light, and the dark, and how he studied all of it.
I think it'd be so cool. I think it'd be fantastic. Well, I'm going to say thank you, Mr. Retroactive, for joining us on this. It was fantastic. I hope that you know, this isn't the last time we get to collaborate.
Honestly, I would love to do it again if you guys ever want to.
Maybe down the road someday we'll figure out a time to do it again. So the way we always end this thing is we let the guest, we sign off with a line from a movie. And because you're the guest, you get to say it.
All right. It's game over, man! Game over!
That's all we got. Game over, guys. Have a good one.